Punches out center labels,
yeah,
so we can regrind records.
Well, I thought you said like coasters, like drink coasters.
Well, that's what they become.
Yeah, like this ram, it'll drop a record down here, it slides down, and then this piston drops down, goes bam! It punches the whole center label out.
Nice.
And then we take the record, sans label, and take it to the grinder to turn it back into pellets so we can...
That's awesome.
Make a new record.
Yeah. Got a lot of records to regrind over here.
Wow.
Took a lot to get things dialed in. See, over here is the boiler room. It's kind of...
But you're not using the basketball hoop, and that's just...
No, that's the one thing we kept in the building. This place used to be a
Nobody
taxidermy.
can that.
So it's kind of tight in here. But this is the big pasta maker.
Oh man.
Yeah. So water gets fed into this tank here.
All right.
It gets heated up to about 300 degrees in here, and then comes down through this pipe, and the pump pushes it over here into this big tank. And then on the other side is where our fire control is, and it blows fire like a pilot light with a fan into there.
It's a giant hot water.
Turn it
I mean,
into a giant hot water heater. And at the end of the day, just like you're supposed to every year, drain your hot water heater every year. Very easy, just hook the hose to it, open it up.
The more you know.
We do that every day, and that's what all this dirt and gunk all over the floor is in here. So we're trying to get all that shit out of the bottom of this tank so it doesn't rust out like a water heater in 5 years.
Fantastic.
Maintenance.
Maintenance, lots of maintenance. This is the regrind station. So flashing in records that we punch the holes out, we put it in through the top here. Turn it on so you can... And then the blades in there that just turn around and chop everything back up into little pellets.
Wow, that's cool.
And then this over here is our vacuum loader. So what this does is this puts power to here. Feel and just pull the regrind up through here. And then when this thing gets filled up, you'll see that lever on the side, it'll open it up and it all drops down the chute right here into the stand. And then all the dust that we don't want gets pulled over here into a filter that's rated down to like 12 microns. This machine here delayed us 100 days in getting our permit.
Oh man.
The fire marshal was worried about potential combustible dust.
Aren't we all those, if you think about it?
That's a good name for a band.
Keeps me up at night.
It's a fair concern.
This is cool.
Yeah, this is purge that came out of the machine.
That is awesome.
So that's what records get made
So
out
do
of.
you grind this up, or is
This is
this gets
toothpick.
reused?
This is toothpick to regrind.
Oh.
It'll
What do you
just
do
chunk-
with it?
It's
Paperweight.
I want it.
paperweight. We got lots of them.
I love that. That is so cool.
Yeah, we make them every single day.
That's the best mispressing I've ever seen. Just stick a label on it?
Yeah, we'll make some here shortly.
Oh, that's
I have
great.
a little bit that I pulled aside that looks like green beans. I'm saving it for April Fool's Day for the kid.
Oh, yeah.
Here's your dinner, and like here's.
Awesome.
Or you could always have a pressing. You could have a limited edition pressing that comes with a couple of green beans. HANK SINATRA Green Bean Deluxe.
Those labels end up looking like after you punch them out.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but literal coasters.
Literal coasters.
You could sell those, put a poorhouse label
Yeah,
on
we've
it.
been bringing them down to the venue and using them as coasters down there.
Or gift cards. You know,
cards,
people buy gift cards.
Album coasters in the house. I love to have some of those too.
Here's some test presses we were doing yesterday. Some different colored, some different splatters, and just testing out all the different colors that we have in stock. So, just had some fun yesterday with it.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah, this is Makin Company and Pie Face Girls. That 2LP from a live show we did with them.
Okay.
Oh wow.
So yeah, Pie Face Girls with clear pink with black splatter. Then this is smoke, clear smoke with pink splatter.
What are these called?
These are cooling plates.
These cooling plates?
Yeah, and these are stacking spindles. So
So the record
Usually
goes on there hot?
yeah, when it comes off the press, and I'll walk you guys through the whole process of what it does. but after it comes off the trimmer, it goes on the cooling plate, and then we typically, these are all just tests, so this isn't done right, but here or here, like every 5 records, typically we put another cooling plate.
Right, and it keeps them flat.
It helps keep it flat as it's cooling for that final process.
Right.
We really want to keep them on there overnight, up to 24 hours, to ensure that even though it's playable right off the press, it's susceptible to cupping.
Right.
If it just doesn't go on it. Air compressor system that kind of runs all the things that move up and down and side to side on all the presses. So between this, the boiler, and the chiller, those are kind of the 3 utilities that we use to make this whole thing work. So this is super important. It helps, especially on our automatic press, all the robot arms that move back and forth and do things on their own.
Wow.
It's really driven by that.
And so if that's down, everything stops.
Yeah, if any of the utilities go down, we're down.
Really? So there's no backup, or there's no...
Not really.
Yeah.
We've got 2 zones on our chiller. One of them's down right now, and it's like a $30,000 repair.
Jeez.
So it's a brand new thing from the factory, but thankful for warranties.
What?
And the boiler, we've got a backup pump on there, so if one goes down, we can switch. And
That's
same
good.
with our pump station over here, we've got extra
Backup.
pumps.
That's nice. Who's this?
800 watts of power, 9,000 amps, 12,000 amps, I believe. All in all, like 21,000, I think, between the 3 of the panels.
Wow.
It took us 14 months to get power in here. We had to bring in a new transformer, 3-phase, 480 power, and we didn't get it until mid-December this last year.
Wow.
And we started talking to them in October of 22.
This is so cool. This is like being able to make like holy totems. Like you're making rock and roll. This is the rock and roll factory. Wow. Now, what are these?
These are stamper rings to help hold the stampers on. So I've got Hank's
That's cool.
stampers right here. Let me grab some gloves. This here's the extruder, this machine. So this
Only in the South do they say, this here's your extruder.
I've officially been here long enough to say shit like that.
He's just trying to be cool.
What you got over here is you
This
dig
right
up.
here.
Look at here.
Put your mouth on it.
Yeah.
So we load PVC pellets up in here. So if you look at the top, you guys are tall, you can see. That's where all the pellets go.
Wow. Look at that.
Here's some blue from yesterday, opaque blue.
Nice. Like little ecstasy pills.
Yes.
Stop. Everything's drugs with you.
Well, look where we are. We're at the rock and roll factory. We're at the rock and roll factory.
So on this machine, motors back here, gearbox and belts that help drive it all. And inside here, there's a long screw that runs the length of this that turns 3 heating zones. So we usually set this to like 270 degrees, 275, 280, and then the die zone up here like at 270. So the point of that, it slowly spins like this and moves the PVC up this way. And when it actually comes out, it'll look like that purge we looked at earlier.
Yeah.
And when we drop the pre-mold cup down here, you'll get the actual donut that you're
Right.
looking for. A lot of people call it a puck or a biscuit. We like to call it a donut because you want a hole in the center. If you don't have a hole in the center, you might be fucking your machines up.
Yeah.
So
And
you gotta have donuts, not biscuits.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, I could purge some here real quick to show you what that looks like coming out. There's probably a color in here first. You can come over here too.
Oh, it's like those Play-Doh machines.
Yeah.
It's a tapeworm.
It's like an adult Play-Doh factory.
It's like an alien tapeworm.
Yeah. So yeah, we had blends in there yesterday, so there's a bunch of different colors.
That is cool as
that need to
hell.
come out. And because I loaded it up with
Can I
black
touch it?
this morning. Yeah, it's hot.
Wow, that is great. Feels like it's alive. That's cool, man.
And you can see as like it gets further down the barrel zones, it gets cleaner.
Yeah, as it gets hotter
So
or
like
warmed up
anytime
in there.
if you have like a record that looks perfect, and then all of a sudden in the middle of it, it's like boom, like big thud out of nowhere. It's usually because see at the end here how much harder that is compared to the rest of
Yeah,
this.
so it doesn't press quite as. Oh,
Right,
yeah.
yeah.
It's like a scab.
So that's why we always, if we don't make a record for 5 or 10 seconds,
Oh,
we
okay.
do a little bit of a purge to make sure that we don't get any of those hard spots
Right.
in there, which it's, unless you're listening to the whole record, you're never going to find it.
Right.
Because it still looks perfect.
Yeah.
But,
It's just a slightly different density of
right, exactly.
vinyl.
Yeah, so kind
That's
of,
cool.
you know, if we were actually making a record right now, I'd hit puck request right here, and this part right here, the pre-mold will drop down.
Are we going to get to see it happen?
Oh yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and you guys can do it too.
Right on.
And so rather than it just coming out like this, because this mold will be down, it forms into that donut shape that we're looking for. If we change our settings to make it, if we want 140 grams, 180, and we do that based on time.
All right. What's next?
Yeah, so after that, once you take the donut out of here, the first thing you would do when you actually have stampers on there, which we'll do that in a little bit, you put your bottom label on, and then you put your donut on top of that, and your top label on. Start the press. This bolster here will lift up slowly, and as it's lifting up, it'll start running through its heat cycle. So the boiler that we saw earlier, that's providing steam, so it's coming into the press at like 360 degrees at 150 psi, and as it raises, it'll go into a heat dwell, so it won't add more heat, but it'll just let it hang out kind of like a jacuzzi. And then after a few seconds of that, we send the steam back to the boiler, and then chilled water from our chiller comes into the molds. These part here, there's like a labyrinth inside of them that the steam and water travels through. And then it'll do the same thing with the cool cycle. It'll run it for 10 seconds, then hang out in there for 10 seconds, then run it out. Press will open, the bolster will come down. Take the record off here and put it onto our trimmer platter here. Once the machine recognizes that there's something there, the suction will kick on. The suction comes under this platter to help hold it flat. We start that. This guy turns just like a turntable. We heat this knife to 150 degrees right here, and that whacks. And if it's done, if the record's at the right temperature, you won't hear it cutting. But if you hear crackle and things like that, that means the record came off too cold off of the press. So then we go back here, we start playing with our heating and cooling settings. Maybe we need to add a little bit more heat to our cycle. Maybe we need to take some cooling away. And we kind of go one variable at a time to figure out where the issue is actually coming from.
Now, if it's crackling, does that mean you can't use that pressing? Or is it just
Not
mean,
necessarily.
It just means, okay, we need to go back and reset because it's not perfect.
Right,
You
exactly.
can still use that one.
When it hits the trimmer, like it should be like a hot knife going through soft butter.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
that's when you know you've got it right.
Okay.
But if you hear crackle, we've had plenty of records that have come off too cold. We listen to them, they sound perfect,
Right.
they're flat, they look great, so they're fine, but it's just not ideal.
Right.
So even when we get those, we're still adjusting the settings throughout the day to make sure that it's not happening.
Right.
Sounds like you've learned this over a period of.
Been a few years now.
I love how new everything is here.
Yeah.
It's just amazing.
Yeah, and these guys here, like you see, it goes red and green. These are light curtains for safety purposes. So if you accidentally go like this,
Everything stops.
the press will stop, so you don't
Yeah,
lose a
what
hand.
number is the Hank record? What project is this for you? Are we in the top 10? Did we make the top 10 project?
Yes, top 10 made here.
Okay.
Yeah. This is our pump station for our chiller. So there's two sides of it. This is the evaporator side. So there's a loop system that goes between here and the chiller outside, which is essentially just a gigantic air conditioner that's 10 feet tall, 15 feet wide, and 12 feet long. And what that does, there's water and glycol in this side, which is basically antifreeze. And it cycles between here and the outside through this heat exchanger. Okay. And then on the other side here is our process water. That's the water that actually goes to the presses that's cold. But over here on that heat exchanger, because we don't want glycol making its way into the presses or the boiler or anything like that, because we'll just ruin it all, we use that heat exchanger, which essentially has, it's split down the middle, and it's a heat pull transfer without liquids actually touching. Yeah, so this side goes out to the chiller, and this side runs to the process loop over here. So this is set up for 6 presses in the future, so we're only running one of these right now.
Oh.
Every 2 presses we add, we'll have to add another chiller outside and another pump. So like all of our tanks and everything are sized for 6 presses.
And you have room to grow.
You have room to grow.
That's cool.
Rather than shutting down in the middle of operations for however knows long.
Yeah.
We did some pre-planning with power in this, but like every 2 presses, we have to add another boiler. Like,
Wow.
it's very, very big. Like,
That's incredible.
so one of the issues that this is my fuck up. So I got quotes from like 10 different chiller companies. I sent them all the warm tone packet from the press manufacturer that lays out, here's all the details you need for pressure, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
Temp Tech, who we bought this from, is the one company I didn't send that to.
No.
So they just asked me a bunch of questions. I answered them all, but they didn't ask me about PSI.
Oh.
So these pumps are rated at, they deadhead at 70 PSI, and we need to be running at least 120 PSI to the presses. So what we did, because we have these extra ones, there's 2 different ways to tie pumps together. You can do it like manifolded together. Take these 2 here and have it go up in one pipe, which increase your flow, but it won't increase your pressure. So we ran them in series, which is the other way. So we come out that center pipe from the tank into this pump, and then it discharges into this here at 70 PSI. So when it comes around and hits the 0 point here on this pump, it thinks it's at 0, but it's actually at 70. So when it comes out, you can see we're at 130 PSI right here, which puts us where we need to be.
So you made it work.
We made it work. We made it work.
Ingenuity.
Yeah. Yeah, you hire all these engineers and all these experts, and I'm the one over here coming up with all the solutions. Yeah, same here. When we originally built this chiller loop, so this side right here is closest to me. With this drop here, that's where water comes into the press.
Yeah.
Same on that one. And then on the other side here, that's where water goes out of the press.
Okay.
So originally when the contractors built this, that return pipe ended like right at where that pipe goes up. So there was no flow of water in that pipe. So when it shoots it out at 60 PSI out of the press, it wasn't able to get into that pipe.
Oh.
And it was just sitting there and our presses were overheating. So because we needed that 60 PSI and there were 120 coming in, it's like, okay, if we build this corner here where it's teed off right there, we built that little loop, added that globe valve and tied it into here. So if that globe valve is completely open, water is now flowing at 120 PSI into that return line, which is too high because water now can't get out. Think of it like merging traffic. If everyone on the highway is going 120 and you're trying to get on going 60,
Not gonna work.
good luck. So we added that valve there, which reduces the pressure, so we're able to bring it down to that 60 to 70 where we need it to be. So everything can get away just fine, and we haven't overheated in weeks since. we
Cool.
got that done.
Nice.
Yeah.
Victory.
Victory! Yeah, this over here is the automatic press. We're getting ready to do Ranford Almond, his record, and Sky Blue. Oh, here's some purge for you.
Oh yeah, look at that. Wow. That's great.
Now
That looks
playing
good,
holder.
Just like that.
That is excellent. Oh
Random
my
pucks.
goodness, this is great.
That would sit lovely on your desk.
Oh
Yeah.
man, I'm telling you. Those are great. I'm gonna, I got my eyes on that green one.
So this machine works the same way. It's the same components, but there's automation that runs everything rather than a person. The same thing.
Okay.
Copper.
3 chambers. Yeah.
Yep. Same exact machine. The only difference here, I'll mechanically show you. So this whole thing that's on this transport here, you know, the PVC still comes out here just like the other one. It'll make the donut here, and then this press will automatically grab your A and B labels here. So see, that'll go up. Those suction cups, when it's on, we'll pull it off.
Okay.
Same with the top here. And then once this pre-mold here raises back up, then the transport's ready to go into the press, and it'll go like that. And then you can see over here, so it'll be holding, you know, your B label, your A label up here, and the PVC will be right here. And then when it's in that position, this center pin here will drop down, go through the labels, through the PVC to hold it in place. This transport will go back out of the press, and then this bolster will raise up just like the other one, flatten out the record. The only difference On this one, because we need the record to be on the bottom, on that one it has the potential to stick to the top.
Okay.
These are air blades here on the top, or on the bottom and the top. So when the press opens, you'll hear like, and that's air blowing under the record and over the record to make sure it sits here.
Oh,
Okay.
So once
Cool.
that's down, this arm will swing in, pick it up, move it over here to this trimmer platter, place it on the pin. This will drop down, and the same thing as the other one, this knife at 150 degrees will drop down, cut the flash off, falls down a chute, which we have off right now because we were making some adjustments yesterday, and go into a can for regrind. And then from there, this arm will swing in, pick it up off the trimmer platter, and put it on stack 1 or stack 2 on the other side. And then
Nice.
you were asking about the cooling plates before. Like we prescribe it on there maybe every record, depending if we're battling something, but typically every 5 records that will come, and this is on an elevator. It'll go up and down like this. That arm will take a plate and drop it onto the appropriate stack and keep going.
nice. And then that's it, right? That's the process. And then they go over here to dry.
So this tool here helps hold the stamper and the center pin in place. So first I usually just take this and slide it in up here where it goes, and then get my stampers prepped. Okay. Come over here and start. We're going to start with the B side, we're going to start with the A side on the top. So the first thing we want to do is just kind of look at it, see if we see any imperfections on here. Nothing terribly visible here, so move forward, clean it with acetate.
And that just removes any grease from fingers or whatever.
Yeah, you can see there's some coming off because we've used these plates before.
Mm-hmm.
So anytime that you use them, you start getting a little bit of residue buildup on them. So it's one of those things you can never clean too much.
Right. Now, would that be something you could run through like an ultrasonic, one of those ultrasonic record cleaners? Would that do any?
I don't know. I've never thought of that.
I have one of those at home.
We have a VPI, but that's basically just puts. Well, it could work. I don't know.
Or I'm just wondering if it would just be overkill. If just wiping it is fine, you know.
Yeah, I mean, the solution really kills anything that's on there,
Right. And it's such
then
a
we
durable.
use like some tack gloss and
It's such a
microfiber
durable,
to
yeah.
make sure there's no dust or anything like that.
And you're not dealing with wax there. That's a durable thing there. So
Yeah, this is solid metal, so
Yeah.
like when this gets built, first lacquers get cut, which is like a thick, pliable chewing gum material, and it's cut on a lathe in real time.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's examined under a microscope to make sure there's no anomalies or anything like that. Grooves aren't bumping into each other. And then from there it'll go to electroplating, and first they'll coat the lacquer in liquid silver, and then it goes into various nickel charged baths to build up this actual piece.
Oh, wow.
So when that's done being built in those baths, the lacquer gets pulled off, that's rendered useless, and then you're left with the inverse of a record, because the lacquer's basically a record, but it's not really playable.
right.
And then this ends up as the inverse, so this has ridges on it instead of grooves.
Oh, okay.
You can
Raised.
then you can make a reverse of that, then you've got a mother copy, then you can make copies off of that mother to make more father stampers. Here. And then we take our stamper ring that helps hold that in place. And just stamper ring tool here to tighten that.
So how many people do you typically have on the press when something's being run?
One per press.
Just one.
Yeah. And then one person QCing for the 2 presses. So when we first start a run, we do a full listen all the way through on both sides, make notes of where any anomalies are that need to be addressed. And then once that gets dialed in and everything's coming off good, we're spot checking every 20 records that come off, listening to the ins and the outs and some of the transitions. If you can get the ins and the outs of each side sounding good, 95% of the time, everything in between is going to be good.
Yeah. I'm sort of the same way with our songs. As long as we get the intro and the outro, the middle will work itself out.
All right, east side. Beautiful.
Throw some blue in there too.
What we'll do is take the bottom label, put that on there. We're going to do a purge here to get stuff out that we don't want. Snap, crackle, pop.
Very sci-fi movie about that.
Make a blue record for you.
The album's umbilical cord.
Or tapeworm.
If you come over here, you'll be able to see what, and you'll be able to follow along the settings that we have it at right now for the heat cycle. So
Oh, great.
open that up.
Look at that. That's pretty.
So there's our blue with no hard spots on there. Sometimes we like to push that in like an Audi belly button. Get back in there.
That smells good.
And start the press.
That smells good.
Yeah. It reminds me, my parents worked in rubber factories in Ohio, so I remember those smells.
Nostalgic smell.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's going up, going for its heat cycle. Now did its heat well for 3.5 seconds. Heat's on. Now cold water's coming in for 12 seconds. Anytime you hear that tickum, that's the utility switching. So now we're going to hear it switch to the cold well. Now we're going to see it come down. So not a lot of flashing on this first one here. So typically the first few you run are not going to come off that well. See, it's already solid, very little flashing, so I'm not even going to put that on the trimmer.
That's
The machines are still warming up.
Okay.
We're going to do it again. Start making that puck. Why is that not going?
With that coiled up there.
Yeah. Oh, see, because I let it sit for a little while. See that hard spot right there?
Yeah. Can't use it.
We could, but it's going to sound like crap. So. we'll do another one. Typically, we'll start making another one like right when it gets to the cooled well right here,
Okay.
which gives us enough time for that to make while we take this record off, put it on the trimmer.
Gotcha.
By the time that's done spinning around, we're putting this back on here, pull that off.
So timing is
Check
really
it.
important.
Yeah. And you could go slow with it. See, now we're getting good. These are good 180 gram.
Oh yeah.
Donuts. Don't go past this yellow part, it'll stop the press. Come on, see, we're starting to get a little bit better flashing. You can see it coming out between the molds a little bit.
Oh, we got a top sticker. Yeah, that's cool.
Hear that crunch?
Yeah.
Didn't come off hot enough.
Wow. I love that noise. That's a really good noise.
Oh, that's okay.
What are we doing, kid?
Look. We got things. Orange. Right?
Okay, all right.
And then one more. Pink. Oh, that's translucent. We want the pink.
Put that in the cup so you don't drop
Oh, yeah,
it.
sorry.
No, you're good. I'm just, again, we've all done it, so it's
Translucent. I'm just looking for the word opaque.
opaque deep purple.
That's not gonna
Deep
show.
purple. Yes.
And yeah, it doesn't show, we notice how everything mixes.
Mystery opaque red. This sounds
Yeah, that was what we didn't order. Here it is.
good. Two of those.
It just showed up.
What's that one?
That's the pink.
All right. Okay. Yeah. Well, now we got it going on.
All right.
All right, what's the cup got there?
It's like nerds candy.
Yeah, that's gonna be a beautiful album. Yeah.
All right. So we do this on the tray here. That.
You do more than that.
Nice. So how do I get them off this thing? It's a scoop.
Nope, we're gonna let that heat up a little bit first. Takes a couple minutes.
All right.
Otherwise it won't stick to the...
But that's what I used to get them out.
Nope, you take this and roll it on there.
Oh, that's a rolling. That's right.
Yeah.
I forgot.
So depending on how you do it, if you do it on the sides versus like the top and the bottom, it will make different patterns.
Yeah. I know what I'm doing. All of it.
Yeah, then we just kind of use these to move it around. Stick too much and get clumpy.
Like making breakfast.
Remember that mic gets super hot when you first turn it on.
I'm cooking breakfast for the vinyl community right now. There's no meat involved for all you hippies.
Vegan.
That was just a remnant of whatever color was in there. That little, looks like somebody's throwing.
That one sounded right.
That was getting better.
Yeah, there's only a couple cracks.
Yeah, when this one comes out,
Not rolling that.
however you want.
Don't
Both
forget,
sides.
this gets super hot.
I'm gonna.
We love burgers.
We can tell who mom is.
Yeah, I know.
Kids,
So
kids,
true.
remember
It gets
the hot plate is the reason they call it that.
That's perfect.
There you go.
Okay.
Toss it off.
Okay, that's all right. It ends up looking like a Smurf sex party over here after we splatters.
Yep.
It's gonna look like really bad food. We'll see. It might just be black. We'll find out.
It's like every album's a surprise party. We don't know how it's gonna
One day I'm
go.
gonna become a professional at this. I'm so good at this.
You're getting there.
Okay, so tell me when to put my hands in.
Once it comes all the way down and stops.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the
Oh, so I
green,
put it in just stop and so it
Yeah, it stopped the press when it was only open this far as opposed to that far.
the green light will say,
now.
maybe.
good.
Now? Yep.
Oh yeah. I like it. Subtle.
Alluring.
For your first splatter, that's pretty good.
And look at that cute little orange one there.
Wow.